Hello everyone, and welcome to the first Bible Illustrated live stream. I don't want to announce this because I thought it would be more interesting if it's spontaneous like this. Usually I held these streams on Bible Illustrated Hands, but I think this would be better because then more people have the chance to participate and everything. So, you know, you're not limited to participate in the live stream solely because you follow the what's it called, the community tab. So as in previous live streams, I will hi Radio Waste, hi Russian Spy. So we will talk, chat, and I will draw. That's the idea. So the current illustration will be Genesis 1 verses 7 to 8. And God said, "Let there be firmament made amidst the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, I apologize, and divided the waters that were under the firmament from those that were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and evening and morning were the second day." I already did this drawing. Hi Nightingale and hi Plant Franklin. No, Cat. I show my face in the Church Mouse Chronicles, but not here. I would feel sort of, I need someone here to make some interaction. Russian Spy. No, I don't own the prologue. Even though it's a terrific book, but we have a website here called Svetosavlje or Saint Savahud, to use the translation. And they have an online prologue, so I simply go there. It is a good book. By the way, this isn't sponsored by Coca-Cola, but I need this template for circles. So like we will have a little earth here, Holy Spirit here, and the firmament around. And this is one of the dangers of having my makeshift holder. So I think that this will do for now. And yes, before this thing began, I had to draw the line of the firmament with the base of my table lamp, and I didn't want to, interrupt the recording because of it. So I had to cheat a little bit, so you won't get to see. I hope to finish. Hi, Captain Crunch. Nice having you here. No M today. And we need something for the Holy Spirit now. Yeah, no, I think that this is too small. I need something a little bigger. But I think it will do. But maybe this is a little too big. No, this is perfect. Okay. Ja, ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. Ich lerne Deutsch seit 8 Jahren. Meine Deutschlehrerin werde mich mördern. I'm not really that good in German, but then again, I'm not really all that good in anything. So yes, and I should have taken out the red marker, and pulling it out of this pencil holder is like playing a Jenga, hoping that this won't fall apart. Yes, I'm a Serbian, but I also speak some German and a little bit French. Well, I mean, I have been learning French for the longest time in elementary school and high school, but I think that my knowledge of French has rusted to oblivion by now. So this is the halo of the Holy Spirit, or the Spirit of God, as he tends to be referred to in the Old Testament. Do I have any tips? I'm trying to learn Serbian. Don't do it. I mean, why are you trying to learn Serbian? I mean, it's great and kudos to you, but I literally have no idea what tips to give you, except to learn a lot. You know, one of the best ways to learn any language is to watch a lot of content in that language. Shows, movies, songs, YouTubers, you know. I think I only have like one video of me speaking Serbian. So, uh, not much use there. I apologize for the lack of updates. Hi, Sergey. I apologize for the lack of updates on the main channel, but the next video is really a big one. Hi, Axion. Hi, Nicholas. I assume that turns himself into a pickle is Rick and Morty joke, and I suppose you can't really avoid the pickle Rick reference these days. But I never watched the show. I watched one episode, like when they get banished to the dimension of women. I thought it was hilarious. Thanks, Sergey. Hi, Daniel. Thank you. By the way, Russian spy, if you only want to talk to your priest in like Serbian, I would really not recommend learning Serbian just because of it, because it's a very difficult language. Oh, thank God, Nicholas. No thought, why are you so cool? I'm not. I'm just like, you know, typical next door guy. And I happen to have a YouTube channel. That's the sole difference. Like, hi, Jocelyn. I hope I did not mispronounce your name. I am sort of famous for mispronouncing names. Oh man, the wings aren't really symmetric, and I really hate it. No, everything is like everything is. The lockdown has ended here in Serbia. Everything's open. You know, like we're supposed to keep social distancing and everything, but there is nothing that's actually imposed by the government. And I heard that they will like expect the businesses to obtain the protective equipment, that is gloves and masks for the employers, but we have yet to see whether that will actually happen. Well, you know, Russian spy, learning the Church Slavonic it would be useful if you attend a church where it is used. So, Sergey, when did you get the idea of making YouTube videos? So, a spoiler: the next video that I'm making, that's it's called like I comment on my previous 100 videos. This video, the live stream, will be 100th video on the main channel, and whenever I get to a video where I have done anything special to say, I will, you know, talk about trivia of the Bible Illustrated, and I speak about that. But in essence, I got it shortly. I got it in 2017. I watched a video by Joel Apocalypse called "Welcome to YouTube." It is a hilarious video. I suggest you guys watch it, and it simply gave me an, the thought, oh, maybe I should start YouTubing because it looks so interesting. And I don't regret the decision one bit. I mean, sometimes it can get tedious and everything, of course, but in general, not really. So, and initially, if you guys watched those videos, sermon and speeddraw, the whole channel was supposed to be like that. Thank God that went out of the window. I mean, I still think that they're nifty videos, but they generally don't make as much as impression as, for example, pencils and prayer ropes. Well, I suppose they alternate Russian Spy. Like one liturgy they do it in English, and the next they do it in Serbian. I mean, if I were a priest in a multi-ethnic parish, that is how I would do. So things would get rotated with the gospel reading and Our Father and possibly the Creed being read in all the possible languages of the people present. But that's just, my fancy of how I would do things if I were a priest, and thank God I'm not. Now we're supposed to draw this watery ball of liquid upon which we will live in a couple in the next 3 days or a couple of billion years, depending on what your stance on this is. Oh, by the way, Jack, thank you so much. If you guys haven't noticed, I have a new banner on the YouTube channel and on Twitter, and it was made by this guy, Bodan 2K2, so I spelled it. He's really terrific, and I saw some of his work, and I was like, hey, would you like making a banner for me? And he was like, yeah, sure, and he did, and I loved it. Thaddeus Belmont, we have already reopened. If you mean borders, I think that should be soon. But everything else reopened, like all the businesses, churches, cafes, and everything. So that's open. Why do people have strong opinions against ecumenism? Some of the harsh comments I see under your videos confuse me. Why are people against Christian churches uniting? A lot of people believe, and some of it isn't unwarranted, that ecumenism is essentially watering down your faith. Like, for example, if you consider a certain teaching heretical, you don't want to unite someone who believes in that heresy, and that is why people have harsh opinions. Nobody is against unity per se, but uniting without resolving our differences isn't real unity. So, Sergey Hansen, do you have Instagram? Yes, I have Instagrams. I have a lot of Instagrams. You can follow my underwhelming personal profile, but Teodosijević. You can follow the Bible Illustrated Instagram, that is at Bible Illustrated. You can follow my webcomic at Side Project Comic, and that's it. By the way, if you want to find my personal profile, both the Bible Illustrated and Side Project Comic, follow it, so it is easier to find. I feel, to be quite honest, I feel very lazy to spell out my last name. Oh, actually, no, wait, I'm an idiot. Okay. Okay, I can simply type it. Just because I wear glasses does not mean I'm smart. Yeah, Nicholas, I decided to live stream here because I thought it would have a wider reach, because I assume a lot of people wouldn't be able to participate on the secondary channel because they would have to see the announcement on the community page, and of course a lot of people will miss it. This way a lot of people will see it, and oh, I just noticed that on the phone I get a little crown when I type something. It is only proper. Thank you, Daniel. I'm glad that the videos, very useful to you. Plan on making a lot more. So for these past 2 years, like the zeal did not falter. Vaistinu Vaskrsa, Jovane. Super što si ovde. So this is Earth. This is our goddess, our Mother Earth. This is the great womb. I'm just kidding. And these are the crystals. I have an agate crystal on my shelf, but I don't feel like setting up. Hi, Dr. Who. Oh, sorry, Thaddeus. What did I? Sorry. How long did I let my hair get during the lockdown? Not a whole lot. I mean, if any of you, especially guys, try to grow your hair long, you would know just how long it takes, like over a year. So it did not grow anything particularly longer than it would when I'm sort of lazy to go to the hair salon. So Jovan asked me to do these things more often. Well, actually, Jovan, I do them on the secondary channel that more often. I will see to do it. I will see to do it that more often. Not that often, because the main reason I didn't do them. I didn't do the live streams on the main channel is because I wanted to keep the theme of the channel, so that everything is illustrated. But it is maybe a borderline OCD thing for me. That doesn't really influence anything. So I mean, nobody really cares in the end. So, oh wow, do you plan to keep it, the long hair, Sergey? Well, yeah, it's the main channel. So if you guys don't know, there is a secondary channel. I post there much more often, but those videos are custom made for people. So literally zero production value, pretty much like this live stream. So, oh man, it is so hot in here due to the lamp, but I don't know if you guys do any art, but it is so relaxing. Sadly, in the modern age, we rarely get to make things with our hands. Hi, Darko. Guys, we have an Orthodox deacon here, and he's a great deacon. He's a friend of mine. Yeah, we will have more videos by Extelus. Sadly, animation takes a lot of time, and it's pricey and everything, but I will make sure to have more of it. I plan 2 animations by myself, similar to bridges, to fridges and balloons, but those will take a lot of time. Actually, the one that I'm doing first, called The Nightmare, is a bit horror, you know. Okay, bye, Sergey. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. Jovan, have you ever been to the liturgy at the theological faculty in Belgrade? Yes, I have been a couple of times, but both times when I went, those were extraordinary liturgies, like Liturgy of Saint Mark, Liturgy of Saint James, and so on, and I loved them. When I attended the Liturgy of Saint Mark, during which the laity is supposed to hold their hands in orange position during the consecration of the gifts, that is, hands lifted. A friend of mine told me, and he's a bit of a trad, so to speak, he said, don't lift your hands during the consecration. I'm like, why not? You'll see. So I'm like, meh. So I leave them like with everybody else, and the consecration took like 15 to 20 minutes, and they were aching so much, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to put them down. Hi, Philip. Nice to have you here. You know, imamo mnogo Srba danas. To mi je mnogo drago. Generally, we don't have this many Serbs on my channel because my channels are sort of, West-oriented. But I'm glad I have my Serbian brethren here. Feels more like home. I mean, I am home, but, it's even more homely like this. Word 1. Thank you for doing a live stream. I'm a bit only now, and you're sort of like a friend, even though you have no idea who I am. By the way, that is a common impression and connection people have with YouTubers. YouTubers have no idea who you are, but to you, they're like a family member. And thank you, Word 1. It's really flattering to hear that. I feel like I need more light in here, but I simply can't make anything more. Benjamin Cruz. Hey, Bojan, I took an Orthodox Christianity class in college and it led me to you. Very lovely channel, glad YouTube suggested it. Well, finally, some use in algorithm eavesdropping on you and suggesting you things that you say out loud. So. Jovan, I was on at the Divine Liturgy of St. John Chrysostom there with an Afro read out loud and choir not taking 20 years to say eh. The liturgy was surprisingly short. Well, yeah, sometimes people like to drag on the liturgy. And there is this great story from Mount Athos. Like, this old monk was dying. He was on his deathbed and he requested the Holy Communion. And I don't know why they didn't give him communion from the tabernacle. I suppose that, like, because the liturgy was, there was a liturgy going on. They wanted to give him communion from that liturgy. But the priest took his sweet time, serving very piously, slowly, and everything. So the monks asked him to, speed it up a little bit so they could give communion to that dying brother. And that monk gets all spiteful, and that hero monk, priest monk, and he starts serving even slower, and suddenly the most holy Mother of God appears and just says, speed it up. I love that story. I mean, of course, there is always, with slow liturgy, there is a danger of pride and theatrics, and with sped up liturgies there is a danger of pride and impiety. So thank you, Captain Crunch. Have fun with Babylon 5. I haven't watched that, by the way. I hope I will someday, but in all probability I won't. Just being honest here. Doing fine, Philip. this month was really good for me because I actually managed to do one illustration per day. I don't know if any of you, I don't know if any of you know about why this channel is called Bible Illustrated, but I'm essentially trying to illustrate the entire Bible. And ever since May began, I have been managing to draw one illustration per day. And I'm really loving it. And not only that, I'm like managing to go to the gym and I'm being very productive and thank God for it. Like, I wouldn't be able to do it on my own. As Christ says, without me, you can do nothing, but I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Which is Philippians 4:13, something I won't be able to tell you if I didn't have this framed verse. Well, yeah, the primary factor of the length of the liturgy is how long does the choir take to sing, and especially how many people take communion. Like, if there's a lot of people, of course, it will take more time. I think we're finishing with Mother Earth very soon. Well, judging from the universe, I think that the Lord loves circles a lot, and I can't blame him because they're very pretty. They don't call it the perfect shape for nothing. You can't calculate p from a square, can you now? So, thank you, Crazy Tarantula. Philip Radic, where did you learn to draw? Nowhere. For the most, for the I'm mostly self-taught. And only recently, as in like for the past year, I have been taking some classes, which initially started out as iconography classes, but our group sort of fell apart, and then I asked the teacher to hold like general painting class. I only have like two icons done so far, and they're both here in my room. They still haven't left there. Jovan, do you condemn priests that forbid communion to those who haven't confessed and fasted? Condemned is a very strong word. I'm not a fan of that practice. Let me put it here. I'll put it like that. No one will get damned over it, I think. But I think it does lead into clericalism. Like, for example, priests get to have communion every liturgy, and I really doubt that they fast every week. For example, if you're a solitary priest in a church and you serve every week, and you have to have communion, that means that you will have to you have to fast like whole time. And they really doubt that they confess every week. I mean, it's great if they do, but I don't see it happening a whole lot. So. I am simply not a fan of that practice. Again, I really would hate to say condemn, like. Bye, Daniel. Thank you for stopping by. Sunshine since 86. Oh, we were born in the same year. I love this channel. I'm not Orthodox, but I really enjoy all your videos. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad that you do. It is time to frame the Mother Earth. We're going to square the circle, and then we're going to reach the energies. By the way, if you're just jumped in, I'm rambling. Hello, Tuck. Hidden values. Oh, I'm a friendly vampire. Thank you. Though even though I personally am more a fan of leeches, but we don't have that in Serbian folklore. You sort of have it in Russian folklore, but in Serbian, not really so. Hi, George. Nice having you here. Crazy Tarantula. Do I have Instagram? Yes, I have 3 Instagrams, and I'll repost. So the first one is my personal account. You're free to follow, even though there's really not much there. The second is the official Bible Illustrated Instagram, where I post biblical images. So it does not have anything to do with the channel. And Side Project Comic is my webcomic, and that's it. Ignore this red frame around Bible Illustrated. It simply detected me as a user, but that's the username of my Jovan Munchanović or Muncanović. Bojan, why are you awake at this hour? Because I want to. I don't sleep a whole lot, even though I definitely should. Crazy Tarantula. I'm a Byzantine Catholic, the best kind of Catholic. George P.I. Have you ever been to Mount Athos? Not as of yet. I plan on going, of course, but vacation days are always an issue. Crazy Tarantula, how old are you? I'm 34 at the moment and counting. The number does not show any trend of decreasing. But, you know, as the book of Psalms say, the numbers of our years are 70, 80, if in greater in strength, and majority of them are suffering and pain. I suppose that David was at a rather low point in his life when he wrote that or sang that. It's a psalter after all. So. Oh, I think this looks much better than the... Jovan, you haven't been publishing a lot on Bible Illustrated Hands. Is everything fine? Yes, because ever since I started drawing more, I sort of neglected the secondary channel, but I will publish there. Don't worry. I recently published 2 videos, and I will record one after I finish this drawing. Oh, you graduated in 86. Well, then, oh no, sorry. I mixed up people. I'm sorry. Oh man. By the way, I'm a forgetful guy, you know, so just bear that in mind. Don't be too offended if I forget who you are, because majority of my brain's functions are dedicated to moving all the fat that I have. So, Merry Cruz, I miss your videos. There will be a big video very soon, Mary, on this main channel, and afterwards updates will get much more regular, because this video that I'm currently making is taking a lot of my time. And this is really a video for fans, you know, for people, you know, who like to... who want to know more about Bible Illustrated, not so much about me, but about the Bible Illustrated. Filip Radic, how did you start reading the Bible? I just did, and my spiritual father, Father Dimitri Cosby, he gave me something that is pretty standard practice among the Orthodox, to read 1 chapter of Gospels per day, and to read 2 chapters of either Acts of the Apostles or the Epistles or the Apocalypse of St. John. But the way I do it, because there's not like exactly twice as many chapters of everything but the Gospels in the New Testament. If the epistle ends on an odd number, I don't read the next chapter. So like if it ends on the third chapter, I don't read the first. And it evens itself out. And if I have more time, I read like 3 chapters of Old Testament. How old is this channel? It's 2 years now, and it will be 3 in August. George P.I. I'm writing an essay about safety and faith. Could you care about safety considered as lack of faith? No. There is such thing as, there is such thing as prudence, as discernment. I do pay like insurance. I do watch left and right when I cross the street. The Lord never actually promised us this, that we will always be like supernaturally protected, So I do all things that I'm due to do, and they leave everything else up to Him, So if the parachute doesn't open, okay, fine. Thank God for His decision. But me jumping out of the plane without the parachute, I can't really blame God for not making me levitate, Catmatics, can you open a Bible Illustrated group on Telegram? What is Telegram? I think I have heard about it, but civilized German, are you Serbian? Yes. Cosmin Barba, still waiting for that penal substitution video. Oh man, I'm so sorry. It's in the works, but I don't want to make it until I finish on the Incarnation by Saint Anastasius. And honestly, penal substitution, it just doesn't work in Eastern Orthodox Church. It pops up here or there, even among the saints, of course, but Crazy Tarantula, do you have prayer rope like me? Well, I don't know what your prayer rope is like, but yes, I do have a number of prayer ropes. And I even use them. At least some of them. I mean, you only have so many hands and minds, and only one heart to descend into. Your hearts and minds are dangerous places. Don't go alone. Logan, hey, I'm starting to read the Church Fathers with St. John Chrysostom. Where should I start? His best hits, so to speak, in your opinion. Honestly, I haven't read a lot of St. John Chrysostom. I mean, I did read a fair share, but there's a lot of works by St. John Chrysostom. And honestly, St. John Chrysostom is like Chesterton. He can write a haiku and it will be pure gold. Anything by St. John Chrysostom, go for it, even if it's like his shopping list. Go for it. So, Jovan, do lives on Bible Illustrated Hands if possible. This is truly interesting. But how do you mean? How do you mean to do lives? Hi, Strawberry Popsicle. Strawberry Popsicle. I'm Serb, but my Serbian isn't that amazing. So how do I follow prayers in church if I don't understand them well? Well, you can get like a bilingual liturgy book. You can practice your Serbian, for example. And if all else fails, pray the Jesus prayer. This is a suboptimal solution because, prayers are there to be heard and understood, but, we don't live in the world with uniform language. So if this is the best we can do, it's it. Svilen Kondakov. Hi, Bojan. We love your videos and drawings. We send you lots of encouragement with them. Thank you so much. Nicholas Papas, do some saints didn't deserve to be canonized? There is a story of an elder on Mount Athos, and he wanted to make a garden, to dig up a garden. So he started digging, and well, he did so. He uncovered not one, not two, but three incorrupt relics, like three bodies of saints. And he was overjoyed. He immediately wanted to rush to the closest monastery to notify the fathers. And as he turned to run to the monastery, he encountered those three, and they simply said, cover us with earth once again for us to wait the resurrection. So some saints don't want to be canonized, I would say that there are definitely saints that are definitely saints. They're before God, they're praying and everything. But if they were canonized, that would create some issues on earth. Like, for example, maybe they have a little bit unwholesome political stances, for example, or some of their writings could be misinterpreted, or they slightly deviated from, small O Orthodox teaching, but, nothing like major, like not heresy, and so on and so forth. So, yes, I would say that there are some saints that don't want to be canonized. Don't deserve. You don't deserve. It's simply the working of the Holy Spirit. So, Filip Radic, have you been to some Serbian holy monasteries in Kosovo? Yes, I did. I've been to the Patriarchate of Peć. I've been to Dievine Vode, or Virgin Waters. I have been to High Dečani Monastery, the most beautiful monastery on this side of Mississippi. By the way, in the monastery of Peć, the abbess, whom I considered a saint, she has reposed since. Her name is Mother Fevronia. She gave me a blessing to read an ecatist to the Most Holy Mother of God after the Vespers in the main church of Patriarchate, and I think it is one of the most. It's definitely a high point in my life. So, Crazy Tarantula, can we see your prayer rope? One moment. Oh, where is it? Here it is. So it's just, what's it called, like nylon. It has tassels. Again, I'm not a huge fan of tassels, but there they are. These are fine, but and to be quite honest, even though that's a traditional material to make the prayer rope, I'm not a huge fan of wool prayer ropes because they're sort of clunky. They have like huge knots, and so I'm not really all into that. Windows 95. I love Windows 95, especially the screensavers. Thoughts on internal security? No. There's simply no such thing. Like, Satan fell, for goodness sakes. Like, the most glorious archangel of God fell. Like, how can we hope not to fall away from the Lord? I mean, I understand why people want to believe in that, and it's not. I wouldn't be so quick to claim, oh well, people are just lazy and they want to be assured of. I mean, there's probably that element as well, but I know that there are some arguments like, well, if God decides that He wants to save you, who are you to oppose? But I'm simply not really into that. I don't see it. Like, Judas fell, Satan fell. Hi, Ilya. Hi from the Orthodox Moscow. Hi, I hope you guys are doing well. I noticed that there is quite a large number of disease in Russia. I hope you guys are doing all right, or at least somewhat better. No, there's a little bug. McCoy Fleming. Hi, Helbing, how are you today? I'm extraordinary well, especially because I played Heroes of Might and Magic with a friend of mine, and we were playing on random, and I got the Inferno town, and he got the Necropolis town, and I kicked his ass. Nobody ever wins with Inferno, especially not Necropolis, and I beat him. So the day is extraordinary excellent for me. George P.I. Saint Porphyrios told his monks to put his body on a place in the Mount Athos woods so as none find it. Well, there you go. Emma Morton. Emma Morton, hi, in one of your videos you say you made like a ranking of religions where you say something like, well, a well-meaning atheist is better than someone doing witchcraft. Do you know what video I'm talking about? If I'm not mistaken, check the Gloater of Notre Dame here on the main channel. I think it's there. Like I made a little ranking. It does sound something like I would say, but if it's on Bible Illustrated Hands, good luck. There's like 200 videos and more. So, Logan Hay, who is your favorite non-religious writer? Saint Thomas Aquinas. Okay, just kidding. Favorite non-religious writer. Oh man, I just had a name and then it slipped from my mind. I like Terry Pratchett a lot, even though that's like really high at non-religious writer. I also these questions. What's your favorite like writer, movies, show, series? Always sort of catch me off guard. Well, I like Harry Potter series, but I haven't read anything by John K. Rowling that's not Harry Potter, so I can't really say if she's my writer. But and I don't like her thing that she does recently, like where everybody's gay, trans, mutant, whatever, Sunshine Saints 86. Do you have any trouble with believing in some of the stories of miracles involving saints? Yes. I asked my spiritual father about it, and he said, well, the stories of miracles are like sex in modern age. It is what got the books sold. So while I don't doubt that God can do those things, some of them are simply so outlandish, Again, we're believers in Christ, not the saints. And of course, saints are great and everything, but some of these stories. Once I wrote the life of Chiune Sugihara. He was a Japanese diplomat in Lithuania during the Second World War. He was a baptized Orthodox Christian. And that story that I wrote got noticed by one of the people in the official gazette of the Serbian Orthodox Church. And after he's read the life, he asked me, well, did you like embellish it a little bit? And I said, no. Why would they do that? Well, people do that. And I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, I can give you examples. And like, no, I don't want to know. So yeah. Civilized German. Ever heard of Mountain Blade? I've literally heard about it, but that's as far as it goes. Bad name. What have I missed? A lot. Philip Radic. I like your drawing of communist Jesus. That ain't Jesus. Jovan, in one of your videos on Bible Illustrated Hands, you mentioned that the Holy Fire miracle in Jerusalem is fireworks. Could you possibly elaborate? I did not mean that it's not a miracle, if that's what you mean. It's just that it is a flashy miracle that I'm really not that interested about. Again, there is a story with Patriarch Paul of Serbia, and he's a saint, as any Serb knows, and even people outside of Serbia. And he was called to investigate an icon, myrrh streaming icon of the Mother of God. And, he went to that church, and he took the icon, and the priest remarked that the way he took the icon, sort of not impiously, but not like, oh man, this is the holy object of grace. He simply took it, turned it a couple of times in his hands. He knocked on it to see if there was any empty space within it to contain oil, in order to prevent any deception going on. And he simply put the icon in its place. He kissed it, and that's it. And he later on said to that priest, these mere gushing icons, they're fine and everything, but the greatest miracle happens on the altar. And that is my stance. Miracle of the Holy Fire, great and everything. It's just not something that interests me a whole lot. If it interests you, go for it. Thank you, Logan. McCoy, have you heard of The Law of God by Seraphim Slobodowski? If so, would you recommend it? And I destroy my friend in World of Warships today. I'm saying, yeah, that feels good. As far as The Law of God, I haven't heard of it, so I can't really comment. Tomfoolery, is there a lot of proselytizing from American dominations in Serbia? I wouldn't say a lot. There is some. However, something interesting that happened in my chapel that I attend. Okay, I'm moving my hand. Okay, it works. Okay, so and that American guy approached it, and he had a lot of questions. Oh, why do you guys do this? Why do you guys? And he was completely curious, like not a slightest trace of being condemning. He inquired about saints, icons. He wanted to know about the incense. What's the meaning of the censer? What's the symbology of the chains, bells, and everything? And afterwards, it turns out that he's a Baptist and that he simply wants to preach Christ. He came to the chapel because he saw it and he was curious. He wasn't there, to tempt people away from orthodoxy. He simply, he simply wanted to call people for Bible study. But then I explained to him that, if you're American who speaks Bible, you will be regarded as a cultist by absolute majority of Serbs, because that is generally not what people do in Serbia. So we kept contact. He's a really terrific guy. And so, Filip Radic, do you live in Serbia? Yes, in Belgrade. Jovan, oh, by the way, is it fine if one buys a swinging sensor to sense at home? Swinging sensors are generally only a priest's or deacon's prerogative, but I must say that I'm a bit of a hypocrite here because I do have a swinging sensor, but it is sort of secular, it has chains and a bowl, but it's nowhere close as fancy as a priest sensor. So I would suggest, You don't do it, even though if I did, I'm being a horrible hypocrite right now. But if it's any comfort to you, and I doubt it is, the charm of swinging the censer sort of wears off very quickly. Like I use the hand censer majority of time. So trust me on that, even though like the swinging censer looks like the coolest thing in the world. I would even go as far to say that it's even sort of more fascinating to actually watch it, experience it, and everything than actually doing it. I mean, it's great, but I guess I bought it during my phase when I put more stock into what I feel during the prayer. But now when I'm Ted older, Ted, not a whole lot, but Ted, it's just that. Cousin Barba, do you follow Jay Dyer? He did a great video recently on Sam Shaman about Christ in the Old Testament. It was great. I don't follow him, and I don't know who Sam Shaman is. I generally don't follow like big lecture type videos. I like for something to go in the background that's more relaxing, McCoy Fleming, what are your thoughts on St. George? Also, who is your patron saint, if you don't mind me asking? Well, it's St. George. you guessed it. My patron saint, the patron saint of my entire family, is literally St. George. Don't pay 10,000 dinars for a censer. Just. By the way, historical curiosity. Incense really wasn't used by the ancient Christians, and it was particularly associated with paganism, because one of the primary ways they detected Christians was to try to force them to offer incense to Roman gods, and the Roman censers. They looked like a tripod with a small bowl, and you simply, put charcoal on it, incense on it, and that is how bloodless sacrifices were performed in Rome, like with incense. Of course, incense was also used as a fumigant in homes, and that secular use wasn't frowned upon by Christians. However, over time, the incense began to be used again. There's incense in the Revelation, there is incense in the Old Testament, so it's not all bad. It is practically a universal practice whenever it was found. It was always used in religion, so. And we can see why. Hi, Launtius. Nice having you here. Bad name. I know you aren't really big on games anymore, but have you heard of Grey Dawn? I haven't. You say it's a semi-religious game. I will Google it right away. Oh, what's this? What's this? This is an Orthodox horror game. Oh, Lord have mercy. I have to check this out. Okay, thank you for what? Okay, this is something that, judging from the like, judging from some screenshots, this is not something that I would recommend, but I will definitely check this out. What on earth is this? Sunshine since 86. There is a priest here in America that was a Baptist before he became Orthodox. I like his videos because he has a good way of explaining Orthodox things to us non-Orthodox Christians. By the way, who is he? I'm really curious. Sila is a German. Who is Saint George? Well, he was a Roman tribune, if I recall correctly. I mean, as regards to the rank, and he was a Christian during the time of Diocletian, and Diocletian issued an edict because he noticed that there's a lot of state officials that are Christians, which again meant that they did not participate in sacrificial rituals of the Roman state, which again meant major undermining of Roman state. Sort of how imagine like cults today that don't pay taxes, something like that, but supernatural. And he issued an edict that sort of made all Roman officials and even citizens to participate in mandatory sacrifices. And Saint George, who was a decorated military commander, would have none of it. He did not want to participate in it. And he was horribly tortured, put on a spiked wheel. At one point, he was buried into a lime pit and left there for 3 days. And when they dug him up, he was still alive. Then, at the suggestion of a pagan high priest, Diocletian ordered him to resurrect a dead man, and he managed. And when Diocletian saw that Saint George is like converting a lot of people who were witnessing his torments, he ordered that Saint George be executed with a sword, and that is how he sort of put an end to it. But he also gave us one of the most popular saints of Christianity. And my ancestors, they were baptized on Saint George's Day. And that is why my family celebrates him as our patron saint, or as we call it, our Slava. Because Slava in Serbian is a patron saint that protects your whole family. And that is a saint on whose day your ancestors were baptized. Thank you, Saint George. I have a beautiful icon of him. I'll show it to you right away. So this is my icon corner, and this is Saint George. And Yaman, also, have you ever been to the service of the washing of feet? There are barely any videos on the topic, and it seems very interesting. Actually, I think there are a couple of videos. But I never attended it. Simply not something. So is Saint George a sort of military related? Yes, I think that like every Orthodox army in the world has him as a patron. So Logan, hey, I notice a lot of Catholics focus on different saints than Orthodox, particularly the more modern ones distinctive to them, like Saint Therese of Lisieux, Joan of Arc, and so on. Why do you think this is? To be quite honest, I don't know. I don't have anything particularly. Actually, a thought simply popped up. I honestly believe that the spirituality of these modern saints is more closely intertwined with what Catholics have been have gotten used to recently, and that is why, like in ancient for example, with ancient saints, like you don't have talks about like daily Eucharistic, like daily communion, Eucharistic adoration, praying the rosaries, chaplets, and so on. You simply have like more general instructions on prayer, for example, and so on. And I think that because modern saints are more detailed and are more in line with current Catholic spirituality, that is why they're sort of more popular with modern Catholic. This is just my interpretation. Ja v Sevastopol est. What is this chat about? Nothing. You chat, we chat. So. Bad name. Thoughts on the horoscope? I don't believe in it. Just wondering. I don't believe in it. I don't wonder about it. By the way, one interesting point. one of the things that got me into religion sort of is this book on astrology, dream reading, and so on. And like it had these dedicated essays on different signs and so on. However, as time passed, I noticed that, for example, in a horoscope, the signs are divided into 4 elements. For example, Scorpio is supposed to be like fire or water and so on. And then I noticed that different books list different signs belonging to different elements. And when I went to Wikipedia, for example, to check up on the sign of Scorpio, and I'm like Scorpio, like the article was like 500 words. There is nothing conclusive, so to speak, about Scorpios, because everybody interprets Scorpios and Virgos and Ariuses differently. Um, uh, Horoscope is nothing more than a supernatural pastime, and a sinful one at that. So, Peter Dankov, what do you think about Dante's Inferno book called The Divine Comedy? I've only read Inferno. I haven't read Purgatory and Paradiso, which is a shame. And I read Inferno in high school, which I don't think is a good period to actually read it. Even though I was interested in it, I think it's a good book from what I remember, but I think that it should have been read later. What do you think about closing the royal doors during the liturgy for antiphons and whatnot? Well, I prefer them open, but nothing in particular. You know, once you have attended both type of liturgies with like open and closed royal doors, their charm wears off fairly soon, and you don't really care. Mako Fleming, have you played Secret Hitler before? Sorry for the name. It's such a fun party game. I think I did. I just have to check the rules. Maybe we probably call it different. One moment, please. Yeah, I played it. It's really fun. It's a very good book. What do you think of Saint Brendan the Navigator? Is his feast? I think I actually drawn him. I apologize. I have to check if that's him. Yes, that's him. I will find you the drawing and send you the link. One moment, please. It will take me like maybe a minute or two. It's in the book of Proverbs. Okay. Now imagine that there's that annoying elevator music humming while I locate the drawing that plays like for the entirety of the Sims video game. Saint Benedict, Saint Simeon, Most Holy Theotokos and her mantle, Saint John of Damascus, Saint Maximus the Confessor. Poor guy. Well, we're halfway through locating that specific drawing of Saint Brendan. Saint Melania, Saint Anthony, Saint Paul the Simple. Ah, here it is. Okay, it even marked my username in the address. Oh wow. Is it true that Divine Comedy may have been inspired by Saint Ephrem the Syrian? This is the first time I hear it. I mean, it will be really interesting. Bojan, what are your thoughts on the violence in the Old Testament? And doesn't that contradict the person of Christ? It does contradict the person of Christ, and that is why it's called the Old Testament. You know, it was simply a provisional measure until Christ came. Hi, Geocacher. Nice to have you here. Oh, Father Barnabas. Yeah, I know him, Sunshine. Yeah. Well, he's great. He's great. No, thank you. Should one set up one's icon corner at home to the east facing side of your room? I did set up my home altar like so that, but not sure. Yeah, it should be facing east. I mean, mine isn't, but if possible, it should face east. Nicholas Papas. Yes, but it seems like two different gods, one of love and no, 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 no. That is not how it is. Um, because if you notice, whenever God is, so to speak, violent to a nation, that nation is practicing some messed up practices, especially sacrificing of children. Why doesn't the government do anything about the cults like Black Rose or other dangerous cults? By the way, Black Rose is a satanic cult here in Serbia. Um, well, I don't know. To be quite honest, I haven't heard about this cult in like 10 years. Nicholas Papas, I highly suggest you keep reading the Old Testament while you read the new one. It will settle. Tomfoolery. Why does it face east? Um, because because Christ says in the gospel that his return will be like a lightning that strikes from east to west, and east has for the longest time in Christianity been the traditional prayer. Christians have traditionally faced east during prayer, and every Orthodox church faces east. Nicholas, if you pay attention, those rules are given to the state. They are given to govern a society, while gospel isn't really given to, isn't really given to govern the society. It's given to, um, I mean, it's given to the community of the church, but not society per se. Bad name. Yeah, regarding Paradise Lost, once I gave it to a friend of mine, and he hasn't read it because it had some other things, works by John Milton, and he wasn't a fan. But I liked the way he did not like it. He's simply not the guy that should get a book on English poetry. I'm trying to do something here, but I'm not sure if I should do this. No. This does not work. Any specific opinions on the eparchy of Rajka and Prizren in exile by former Bishop Artemius? Nothing in particular. I will say that I sort of admire their zeal. I mean, I don't support what they do, but still, it takes a lot of guts to go against the establishment. And even though I don't approve of their practices, I find their standing up to the spirit of this age to be very Christ-like. So. Some spicy drama. What? Is there a drama? Is it normal for someone to have a longer journey to Orthodoxy? Both my husband and I feel confident in converting, but we both feel we are in our current parish for a reason right now, like we will. Well, yeah, there are no rules how long it will take. Generally, it's 2 years. Well, I would say this is pretty finished. And by the way, I will show you how the previous version looks right away. Okay, guys, this is how it looked previously. Bad, good, bad, not good, but better, bad, better. Peter Dankov, have you ever read The Soul After Death by Seraphim Rose? I haven't, but I know it sort of spread the Toll House's controversy in the US, blah, 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 and so on. Have you ever heard about this song called Un'altra persona? No, haven't. Opinion on the ecumenical patriarch. Not a fan of the current one. I mean, he's great when it comes to the environment, but I don't think we needed another schism right now. Yeah, are the pencils you're drawing with cheap or expensive? They're generally, I doubt they're like super professional. I would say they're on the cheaper side. Catmatics, you mentioned Saint Benedict earlier. I wear my Saint Benedict medal feeling safe. Since he's of the Western Orthodox tradition before schism, is he also recognized as a saint? Yes, he is. I would like to listen to some Orthodox music, but I don't know where to start. Try Divna Ljubević. Thank you, Logan. It means a lot. It really means a lot. Guys, I think that we should be wrapping up this. It took like an hour and 17 minutes. The drawings, I think, over. I don't know if I should put like some background. I'm really... what are my opinions on the Book of Enoch? I get asked this like on daily basis. I answered it in one of the Q&As. Sadly, I don't remember which one. I think maybe it's third or fourth. I doubt it's second, but like third, fourth, fifth, something. Well, GeoCaker, you can rewatch from the beginning. So... by the way, there is this guy on YouTube called Inspiring Philosophy. I love him. If you want a good introduction on Inspiring Philosophy, I suggest you watch his debate with Aaron Ra and saw him, turned to smithereens. Anyway, Inspiring Philosophy will make a video on why Book of Enoch isn't considered a scripture. I don't know what his denomination is. I think he's sort of Protestant who likes Catholicism a lot, and he probably will convert eventually. But I really admire his videos, so I suggest you check him out for that, not me. Bad name. Will this stream remain public? Yes, it will. You could rewatch it at all times. Do a live the next time draw. Okay, Jovan, if I did that, I would like do a live stream every day, and I'm no Twitch cam girl. I'm just a Twitch cam guy. Okay. I think I made this joke already in one of my previous live streams. How did you draw the perfect circle? Well, I prayed, and then I simply did this. I can't draw a perfect circle. Nobody can. No lives. No. I thought that I would do a live stream like every 2 weeks on Friday evening. Sorry to ruin your weekend, but generally I stay home on Friday evening, and it's one of my favorite times of the day. Well, guys, all good things must come to an end, and also this live stream. So thank you all. By the way, I have to say, we have been here for like an hour and 20 minutes. This is a religious live stream, so to speak. And I'm so glad that there was no bickering, no arguments, no whatever, name callings. Thank you so much for keeping this nice, clean, and friendly. And I know that we're all at our wits' end with all the coronavirus issues and so on. So thank you all so much. You guys are wonderful. And I think we should this more often, you know. Let us finish with one Our Father. Okay, so make your respective sign of the cross. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Amen. Well, thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye!